How's it going today, everybody? We're going to do a review video today. Now, this is definitely going to be a different review video as typical to some of my normal review videos because they're more on major big films or video games or stuff like that. But this is something that I personally am actually very excited for and something that I think a lot of you are already aware of, but I kind of want to dive into just a little bit more. I have a very good feeling that if you're subscribed to me, there's a very good chance that you're subscribed to another channel called Star Wars Theory. Personally, another YouTube channel that I like to watch myself, and I have a feeling that if you're subscribed to me as Star Wars channel, there's a good chance you're subscribed to him because he has a very large channel here on YouTube. But just in case you're not, what's going on over there? He's actually putting a lot of effort into making his own fan film, more specifically a Vader fan film. Now, of course, not that it needs to be said, but of course I am a huge Star Wars fan. I love watching the Star Wars movies and reading the comics and stuff like that. But something that I really do like also myself is watching fan films. I myself am a film creator, or at least I try to be a film creator. Not just here on this channel, but I actually do like making actually live film videos. So with that said, of course, Star Wars fan films are something that really piques my interest. I myself had actually started my own Star Wars fan film, but it actually ended up getting postponed because I actually started making more content on this channel. So I had to basically push back that fan film, and it was actually called The Lone Apprentice. But that's a whole nother video in itself. But anyway, diving more back into the Vader fan film over at Star Wars Theory, this is something that I've actually personally been very excited about ever since he made the announcement of this video. Also, just a little disclaimer real quick, you are going to be seeing some of the concept art from that channel, and you're going to be seeing the logo of Star Wars Theory in here. I did not just grab these images over at his Twitter page or his website. I actually emailed Star Wars Theory in person saying, hey, you know what, I would really love to do a review video of your fan film that's coming up. Would it be okay if I use some of your concept art? I did get an email back, which I was very excited about, saying go right ahead, go ahead and use the art. So that's awesome to hear from him. So thank you again so much for letting me use some of your concept art. And just like me, Star Wars Theory wants to make sure that they cross all their T's and dot all their I's to make sure that everything is done perfectly and legally. So with that being said, they were able to get permission or their quote-unquote approval by Lucasfilm to basically say, hey, go right ahead and make this film. They're excited themselves to actually see it. They had a couple guidelines for them though as far as how this could be done, what they could do, what they could not do, and one thing that they could not do is actually crowdfund the project. Now, if you remember way back, again, if you follow the channel, that he actually had a Kickstarter campaign in order to raise enough money to actually get the film going. However, that fell pretty short. They weren't able to really get anywhere near where they wanted, which actually disappointed me because I was following that for a while and I saw that they were not getting the money that they needed, and so I myself was worried that, hey, you know what, this actually isn't going to happen. I'm really disappointed because I was actually really looking forward to this. So even if they actually did make their goal on the Kickstarter, that actually was not 100% okay with Lucasfilm because they did not want this thing to be crowdfunded. So basically a way to go around that is they set up a Patreon page. That way you can go and donate money for the channel or the quote-unquote fan film. That way you can help contribute to it. And another rule that Lucasfilm had was that they could not monetize the video once it was actually up on YouTube, which I think they pretty much already accepted that wasn't going to happen anyway because this is a huge Star Wars title and you're using major characters, so I really doubt they could get away with that without Disney basically knocking on their door. Which to Star Wars Theory does not exactly matter because their goal and their achievement and basically what they're getting out of all of this is to create an amazing fan film, which trust me, I am in that same boat. I know exactly how you feel. I don't care about the money. I would just love someday to actually make my own fan film that I can share with everyone else and the world of how much I love Star Wars myself. Anyway, back to the Vader fan film. So because of the money problems, they weren't able to basically get enough to get the whole thing ready to go. So because of that, they took it from just basically one giant fan film and they're going to actually split it up into a web series, which in my opinion will actually be a little bit better. Now, no doubtly do I think this is actually probably going to be one of the best Star Wars fan films ever. I do feel that you're going to get a little bit more noticed and basically have people on their toes a little bit longer, eating for more by splitting it up into a few different videos. Now, I don't exactly know how long this video is, but based on how it sounds like it's going to be pretty long. Now, again, I don't know the exact number, but let's say it's about an hour long. Most YouTube videos, especially an hour-long fan film, probably isn't going to get that much noticed, but again, I do believe that this does have great potential and maybe it possibly could, just by throwing it all into one video. But by splitting it up a little bit, you gain the attention a little bit more by your viewers, and because of that, again, they'll be coming back every single week to see the next episode or to see exactly what happens next. So that was a little bit of a fallback on their plan, but in my opinion, I actually think that's going to help them out better. So, now actually moving on to the storyline itself. Star Wars Theory has given us a general outline of what the main plot line is going to be. To start off, the actual time of the timeline, he says is going to be about 8 months after the movie Revenge of the Sith. So at this point, Darth Vader is still going to be very sad and very much still grieving over the death of his wife Padme. Not only this, he's also feeling hatred and he's wanting revenge over Lord Sidious, because it's all because of him of why he's in this current situation. Audition. He betrayed the Jedi, he betrayed everybody, threw away everything he ever knew just so he could save Padme, and now she's dead. Lord Sidious never trained him or, to his knowledge, even had this power, so because of this, he betrayed everything he ever knew and lost his wife, all for nothing. So Vader's goal at this point is to kill Sidious. That's honestly always been his goal ever since he first turned to the dark side. And what happens is he actually finds out that Mace Windu is still alive along with several other Jedi, so he has this plan that he basically wants them to join him in order to basically take over and kill Sidious, because he knows that his current state, that is not possible. So that is what he is basically reaching out to these Jedi for. And looking over some of the concept art and some of the storyline that we've been given, it looks like that doesn't actually happen. It looks like Mace Windu doesn't really care about that and just wants to kill Vader. So that's the general outline of the movie so far, and to me, I'm already on board for that. Now, to get in a little deeper as far as why I'm a little bit more excited about this is that recently he had an audition video come out for all the characters that are going to be in this. Now, this is why I'm actually excited about it. Now, no doubt, as far as knowing how much money they need at the beginning to get this film actually going, and everything he's described as far as how much he's putting out there, all the money he's put in himself, and everything that he's putting on the line, his channel, his name, I know no doubt that he's pulling out all the strings to make this film happen. So I've never doubted the quality of this film, because I will say right now, I am a very huge judge of fan films. Because to me, there's a fan film, and then there's just messing around with the camera out in the woods. Again, I myself am a film creator, and I try to be as best as I can as a film creator, but I'll admit, obviously right now, I'm nowhere near the best. So when I see a fan film on YouTube, and it's something like where people actually put in production of this, the costumes, maybe the layout, the location, maybe even creating some sets, to me, that is a very true fan film. However, if it's just a couple guys grabbing some lightsabers and some blasters and basically just messing around with the woods while filming it, to me, that is not a fan film. I mean, have fun, obviously. Like, I think that's amazing. If you want to have fun making your own little fun and kind of weekend fun Star Wars video, then go right ahead. To me, I think that's awesome, but to me, that is not considered a fan film. So with that being said, most legit fan films, ones that are actually really good that I like on YouTube, usually consist of like probably like 8, no more than 10 main characters, or even just characters in general. Usually there's not that much, which honestly you don't need that much to make an amazing fan film, so to me that's standard. So when his casting list came out, I was a lot more impressed and made me get just as excited. Now I'll read off the cast list as far as who they need for this film so far. Now of course they need a Vader, they're also going to need an Anakin, Lord Sidious, Mace Windu, Lin Kojo, a Wookiee Jedi, 8 other Jedi who are between the ages of about 12 and 70 years old, and then you're also going to have Padme, a young Anakin, Obiwan who's around his 40s, someone's also going to be playing the voice of Yoda, Count Dooku, Qui-Gon Jinn, Shmi Skywalker, and the other part of Lord Sidious as well, who's going to be Chancellor Palpatine, and then some people to play the 501st Clone Troopers, who are of course Vader's personal troopers, and then some other clone troopers on the side, and then some of the other casts will be some Royal Guards, an Imperial officer that could be either a male or female that he mentioned, and then an Imperial Protocol medical droid for Vader. So as of right now, I don't know how many characters they're going to have all together for this film, because I don't know exactly how many clone troopers they're going to have or how many Royal Guards they're going to have, but with that count right now as it is, that's up to 30 characters for this film alone. So that to me shows how much above and beyond they're really going for this, because like I mentioned earlier, I've never really seen anything more than like 10 characters for a Star Wars fan film. So of course for some of these characters, obviously some of the bigger name characters, they want people that have at least a similar representation of, you know, the characters in the movie. So that's also something I'm really interested to see as far as who they can actually get to play these characters. Moving on though, I want to talk a little bit about the concept art, because again, I got permission from Star Wars Theory to use some of this because I really want to dive into this a little bit more. Now obviously, like I mentioned earlier, we kind of get the general idea of the timeline as far as what's happening. Of course, Darth Vader ends up meeting up with Mace Windu and they have a pretty epic battle, so that's obviously going to be really cool to see. Now looking at some of this concept art and also knowing a little bit more about the characters, I kind of think I have a general idea, or at least some theories of what's going to happen in this film. So the fact that we have different timelines of characters, for example, obviously we have a young Anakin and then we have an older Anakin, I have a feeling that a good possibility that these characters are going to be more like flashbacks. It's not so much going to be the main part of the movie, but they're going to be more flashbacks of when Darth Vader's like meditating or thinking really hardly about something. Of course, I could be wrong. It could just be how the storyline is. They maybe start way back at the beginning and then kind of move their way forward, but I have a feeling that these are going to be more like flashbacks, you know, considering we have a young Anakin, we have a Shmi Skywalker, we have Padme, who is obviously dead at this moment. So looking here at this first image, I believe this is Darth Vader basically going to visit the tomb of Padme, and he's got some clone troopers there just kind of guarding the area. And after he's there, I'm not sure if that's where he agreed to meet up, or maybe Mace Windu tracked him down and that's where he happens to find him. But obviously Darth Vader is going to her tomb to basically kind of grieve over the death of her. And we've got a couple spots as far as obviously knowing that this is Padme's tomb over here in the background that I didn't catch it right away because of course your eye goes towards the center. But we have what pretty much looks like a statue of Padme, a younger Padme over there in the background. And of course, as we all know, that that Padme's funeral was on Naboo, so we can kind of see in the background kind of that Naboo look in the architecture. And then also right below we can see Padme's tomb, where pretty much Darth Vader has been defeated by Mace Windu, which also by far this is probably my favorite concept art of the film so far. Now this image is actually very interesting as well. For my thinking of how I kind of think the timeline is going to play out in this film, I can see this actually happening before everything else, because again, like I mentioned earlier, Vader is furious and he wants Lord Sidious dead because he blames him for the current situation that he's in. So I can see him basically going in there, slotting the Imperial guards as we can see below, and basically force choking Lord Sidious right there while he's also electrocuting him back. And I can see in this scene that basically Vader is defeated and basically he gets put in his place once again by Lord Sidious. And then later on, that's when Lord Vader gets the idea of, hey, maybe I can team up with Mace Windu to take him out because obviously I can't do it by myself. So that's just another little theory I have by kind of looking at some of this concept art. Again, very well done. I'm amazed by this. It's very cool to see. And supposedly there's going to be some more concept art that's supposed to be coming out. So when those come out, maybe I'll do a little in-depth review on those as well to kind of maybe pick out little pieces of what I can see in there. But basically that's what's going on with that fan film so far. And I'm on my toes. I'm really looking forward to it. And once it's actually out, I can't wait to actually do a review on it myself. Also, as of right now, the earliest predictions of the first web series video to come out would be sometime in December of this year, so not too far away. I'll also leave a link to a video on his channel. It was basically the first reveal video to this fan film, and the first minute of the video gives you an in-depth reading of the actual script, so I highly encourage you to go check that out. But anyway guys, that's all I got for today. I want to thank you for listening in today. This may be something that you were aware of, or maybe you weren't, but hopefully you're excited just like I am. Also below, if you have your own theories of after seeing some of this concept art and me kind of going over my opinions, let me know what you guys think, if you have any other theories of how this fan film could actually turn out. So anyway guys, thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.